Welcome back. President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to arrive in the United Kingdom shortly after 8 tonight to attend the G7 meeting. He was invited to attend the gathering of the G7 group of rich nations by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Leaders will be discussing efforts to end the COVID-19 pandemic, global trade as well as climate change. Ramaphosa will be accompanied by International Relations and Cooperations Minister Naledi Pandor. SABC correspondent Laura Makin-Isherwood joins us now from Cornwall. So, Laura, any possibility that the president's flight might have been slightly ahead and he's landed by now?
Yeah, you're right. We've heard that he has now touched down at Newquay Airport in Cornwall. That's about an hour's drive north of here, where we are in Cornwall. And he's a little earlier than expected, as you've said. He's obviously coming here to meet with other leaders of the G7. He's expected to have talks with all of them individually. And he's here as an invited guest. Obviously, South Africa is not normally taking part in these summits. But this year, the chair of the summit, Boris Johnson, the UK's Prime Minister, has invited South Africa to join. He believes that South Africa is an important nation, one that needs to be involved in these talks, particularly when they are going to be focusing so definitely on the pandemic, how the world recovers from that, and also from ensuring that vaccine sharing can take place. We've had a few announcements already on that. The US President Joe Biden has said that the United States will commit to donating 500 million doses of vaccine to countries that currently don't have access to them. The United Kingdom has come on board with that as well, offering 100 million. And there are rumours that by the end of this weekend, the G7 leaders should come to some sort of agreement in terms of putting a figure on maybe 1 billion doses of vaccines being offered to nations that don't currently have a lot of access to them. That, of course, not confirmed yet, but there are a lot of rumours flying around.
OK, so we know that there are going to be bilaterals with several leaders. We've just seen pictures of US President Joe Biden there. Do we know how soon the two will meet before President Ramaphosa meets the UK Prime Minister?
No, well, obviously a meeting between the US President Joe Biden and the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has already taken place. They've signed a new Atlantic Charter, refreshing the relationship between the two nations. But as far as Cyril Ramaphosa is concerned, we're not quite sure when those meetings will be taking place. I understand that he will have some time with Boris Johnson as well, with Joe Biden. And he's also issued a statement earlier this week talking about what would be important to him. The president saying the summit will discuss how to promote future prosperity through free and fair trade, championing shared values and tackling climate change. But the global recovery from COVID-19 is likely to dominate the agenda. Tomorrow is going to focus, we understand that agenda, on ensuring the sustainability of supply chains, of trade. So talks between nations, particularly now that the European Union has lost the United Kingdom and there's a sort of rejigging of the relationship there, then South Africa getting on board with those talks is really important, alongside Japan, South Korea, Australia and India, of course. And then obviously there is going to be a big push from South Africa and India for intellectual property rights on vaccines to be waived, because the two countries believe that that is the way to get most of the world vaccinated quickly.
OK, we've also seen pictures of Emmanuel Macron, the French president, whom President Cyril Ramaphosa has recently hosted. So there obviously is going to be a continuation of some of those talks. But I'm just wondering, a normally sleepy town where this summit is going to be taking place, is there a collection of activists who could be pushing from the sidelines for a stronger, more definitive deals that will ensure that the principles of equity are really, committed to?
Yeah, well, I think that South Africa and, as we've said, India are going to be really fundamental in pushing for that idea. I've spoken to people from the World Health Organization and also different organizations that have been promoting the idea of increased finance in terms of paying for vaccines. South Africa, those groups say, has been really helpful in writing to countries, asking for support, asking for the commitment really to ensure equitable access. But ultimately, there are a lot of countries that need to get on board with this in order to allow, as we say, intellectual property rights to be waived. But maybe this commitment, this greater commitment from the United States and the United Kingdom could be an indicator that there are bigger numbers to come.
All right, thank you very much for that, Laura. As you've just heard from her, President Cyril Ramaphosa has been reported as having touched down in the UK. He's expected, we understand, in Cornwall at about 8:15 South African time, 1500 hours South African time, 8:15 p.m. in Cornwall. So that's President Cyril Ramaphosa arriving at the G7 summit, accompanied by our foreign minister or cooperative governance minister, that is Naledi Pandor.